Growing up in the Caribbean in Barbados, there was a mental health institution in Black Rock, and I used to have to go by there or wait for the bus there. And I think I mentioned this before in one of my other videos. And waiting there, I would observe the inpatients, the people who were in the facility behind the bars. And in observing them, there was always that one guy who was constantly sweeping the area. It was dirt, but he's constantly sweeping this one area and talking to himself. And every time I took the bus from there, I saw that same guy, and he was always doing the same thing, sweeping that one space. And I think that's when my curiosity for psychology became more avid, not just, wanting to understand my parents, wanting to understand myself, but wanted to understand human behavior. And in the work that I do, especially the aspect of couples counseling and other, individual counseling, it is interesting that a lot of people, what they used to call crazy is not really crazy. People really do have chemical imbalances. And I know there are a lot of people who don't believe that chemical imbalance is real, and they don't want to believe it because the human error and human behavior is dictated by the person controlling themselves. And a lot of people feel that if you are aware of your behavior, you can stop your behavior. And one of the things I want to tell you is not so simple. It's not so simple that someone who's acting a certain way or their behavior might be characterized as, unconventional, can control that behavior just like that. It doesn't happen like that. I used to think just like those people who think that behavior is something that everybody has the ability to do better because they can do better. I was just like you. But the truth of the matter is that most people have some kind of chemical imbalance when it is diagnosed, or when it is, when it's observed, or when they're made aware of it. Relationships. How does this topic affect relationships? Well, let's go down some of the lists of some of the things that I have discovered, some of the mental disorders that I've come across while doing relationship therapy or relationship counseling. ADHD, you're familiar with that? Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADD, attention deficit disorder. BPD, this is one that a lot of people are not aware of, but is more common than not. Borderline personality disorder. Schizophrenia, everybody may know what that is. Depression, clinical depression, or short-term depression, or cyclical depression, all different types of depression. Anxiety, dementia, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, autism, and PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Those are just some. And one of the other ones I want to mention is attachment theory. That's a big one. Now, when you're getting involved in a relationship and you're trying to date someone, these are the furthest things from your mind. You're not thinking this person has a disorder or could potentially have a disorder, or how do I deal with this? There's no way of telling. And sometimes people are so good at mimicking behavior, like people with autism, for example, and they're so good at mimicking behavior and controlling their behavior for a period of time. It cannot be for long term, but initially they control their behavior. And you get into a relationship with someone because they're beautiful or attractive or handsome, and you think all is well, and then all of a sudden it's like the record player something goes wrong, and you're like, what the heck is happening here? Let me tell you what's happening here. What's happening here is that what's in the dark will always come to light. It doesn't matter how much somebody hides their past or hides that aspect of themselves from a potential partner. Eventually it comes out. Eventually you'll discover that all is not well. Eventually you'll discover that your partner has some limited capacity or capability that is outside of your understanding, or they did not disclose, or may not even know themselves that they have that. I remember counseling, like 10 years ago, I had this client, and he and his wife came to me, and he was angry. He was angry all the time, explosively angry. like from 0 to 100. And he did not know that he had BPD, borderline personality disorder, because one of the characteristics of BPD is, is anger. And BPD is characterized with abandonment theory. Now, I know what people say, everybody's like, well, somebody was abandoned somebody at some point in time. Yeah, but some people take that really personally, and some people really cannot deal with abandonment. They cannot deal with the fact that somebody, whether it was their parents or somebody that they were close to, abandoned them and left them on their own at a point that they may have felt crucial, or a point they didn't realize was crucial in their lives. And that abandonment translates into abandonment in the future relationship. So you may be married or dating someone that is crazy about you. They're in love with you from day one, and they don't want you to go anywhere, and they're obsessed with you. And just the notion of being away from you, they get all panic and anxiety ridden. Yeah, it may not be BPD. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I cannot diagnose anyone. But BPD has a lot of characteristics that are similar to the abandonment theory or attachment issues that some people in relationships may perform or exhibit. What am I trying to say here? Because I can't go through all of the disorders or all the mental health issues that may show up in a relationship. That's not the point. I don't want to go through them individualistically. What I'm here to tell you is, if you see behavior that is not normal, if you see behavior that is inconsistent with the person that you married or the person that you're dating, ask questions. And if you can't get the answers, try to get the person help. I know a lot of times that's not as easy as it sounds. A lot of people who do have mental illness or are unaware that they have a mental illness or a disorder do not often say, hey, I need help. Something is wrong with me. It's not rare, but the incidences of it happening are less frequent. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this discussion. Mental health affects relationships. Anger is not always anger. Somebody who does not know how to communicate for no reason, it doesn't mean that the issue is communication. It means that there's something else. There's something that they're not getting. There's something there that they're not wired the same way as you. It's not as easy as saying, this is the problem, let's fix the problem. If it was that easy, most of us would not have any problems, would we? What I'm here to tell you is that you and your partner, when you do recognize that there's an issue, that you're in it together, if you choose to be together. But mental health is not something that you approach singularly. It's not just an individualistic problem for that person to go get help. You know how many times I have people come to me and they say, well, my partner told me to go get help because I'm the problem. If you're in a marriage, if you're seriously in a marriage, is that the approach you're taking, to send the other person off and say, you go get help and I'll wait here until you get help? No, both of you are in this together. You both need to approach this together. There's the element of support in a relationship, and supporting the other person means that you will be with them throughout the process, regardless of what the process entails. The other thing I wanted to say is, the first thing you need to do is understand the illness, understand how it affects you personally, understand how it will affect your relationship short-term or long-term. Get the help you need for your partner and for the relationship. Take medication if medication is needed. This is a big thing. A lot of people fight the whole aspect of taking medication. You know, I pop pills. And listen, if I have a headache, I'm going to take a pill. I'm a rare breed. I don't like pain. My pain tolerance is low. I will pop a pill as quickly as they say. You know, I remember when I was giving birth to my son, I had a C-section. They were like, do you want an epidural? Yeah, right now. Anytime today, hurry. I'm all about instant release from pain. But if you're not, and you have an averse reaction to medication, or you don't like the notion of taking meds, there's all kind of homeopathic and holistic approaches you can take. You know, Whole Foods has the people at Whole Foods are really good. They always tell you, they always talk to you about what you can take and what you can't take, or just research online to find other means to help aid you in getting the relief you need from what you're suffering. Evening primrose oil is great. St. John's wort is good for anxiety. And you have ashwagandha, which is also an anxiety one. I'm not promoting all of this. I'm just saying from my personal experience and use that they do have some effect on certain conditions. And you can research this online. The other thing is that this is a partnership effort. If you identify that one or both of you have an issue, it becomes a partnership effort. And you just can't rely on the other person to just go fix it and you're not supportive. That leads to a lot of resentment, and we know what it is to build walls in relationship, and you do not want to continuously build walls in relationship. As long as there's an issue and you identify an issue, there can also always be a solution. All these mental disorders and illnesses can be managed or controlled. And it takes work, and it takes sometimes intervention. You being aware is the first thing. Conscious awareness is always the first thing in any issue, in any situation. Becoming consciously aware that the issue you're facing is something more than it appears to be, and even thinking that can help you to find a resolution to the problem you're having in your relationship or in your life. Because a lot of individuals are suffering and they don't realize why they're suffering or understand the degree to what is causing the suffering. And my suggestion to you is start asking questions. Go online. I know there are a lot of online psychiatrists. Find someone who can help you and your partner, and do the right thing by your partner. Be supportive. It is a concentrated effort. My name is Ingrid Felton. As always, thank you for showing up on my YouTube channel today. Thank you for your support. Thank you for liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I continue to subscribe, continue to like the videos, and tell others about what I'm doing here. My goal is to enlighten you. My goal is to help you understand what you may already know, or to remind you that what you know is relevant at this time and at this point in your life. Have an amazing day. Bye.